Welcome everyone to the 159th live stream. You know, this thing, it keeps happening, like, much just like, having to eat. You gotta critique.
Yeah,
Keeps
police
happening.
haven't stopped us yet, so
Yeah. We haven't been murdered. Despite Allie's best efforts.
Despite the cuteness of CPC's drawings
Th-
being
that true.
weapons in their own right.
overcome with fluff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today we have the ever lovely Allie Claw.
Hello.
And we got the ever fluffy Fluffy's Eye.
Always fluffy.
And of course, the ever fluffy dead zombie.
Fluffy dead zombie.
See, no one else is as live as we are because we have a live zombie.
Right?
He would be dead, but he's living dead.
Yeah, only dead on the inside.
Oh no!
Amen.
No! My friends.
Alright, I guess Allie can do a Brian Drummond. Who's Brian Drummond?
Brian Drummond. It sounds familiar.
Hey Google, who's Brian Drummond? Oh, it locked!
The stream brought to you by Pixel.
No, it's confused.
I have.
Shut up.
You tried. You tried so hard.
Hey Siri? Hey Alexa? He is... Oh my god, he looks like a wider faced Bob Vila.
Now I'm
I don't
even
know who
more
that
lost.
is. He's confused by the way.
Use confusion. Super effective.
Have you been playing Pokemon?
Maybe there's a Pokemon stream coming tomorrow.
Alright,
But ponies.
but ponies. No, not but ponies, but... Anyway.
That's really
Alright.
Pony all the time, except when it's Pokemon and butts.
So the commandment, hey guys, sorry to pop in unexpected, but I was wondering if you guys would be willing to criticize my piece that I made a few days ago on your stream when it comes up. Thanks a ton. That was one sentence. Good, good. Yeah, so do you have any questions about this picture for us, the commandment? They aren't actually listening to us over there. Oh, they aren't in either chat. Oh, I'm just going to add them because I have the ability to do that. Boys for stream, yo. And because he's not in the voice or stream right now, I'm actually going to switch over to Spellbound Canvases. Because,
wonderful.
I
Yeah.
prioritize people who are actively here. Come on.
Yep.
Oh my god, Windows Inc. Who enabled you?
No one wants that
You poor thing.
mess.
Just disable, delete, uninstall. Windows Inc.
Destroy, corrupt, go away.
Allow app to override. No. Windows. How do you shut off Windows Inc?
You have to sacrifice a goat at the top of the mountain. Pray for the window
And then
gods.
throw it at a window.
You must bring the window up to the mountain as well. It all has
And
to
then
be done on top of the
throw
mountain.
the goat through it. Do the sacrifice.
The Chicago, no! Don't confuse Chicago.
No, don't
Just a regular
sacrifice
goat.
the goat. No, he's the best goat.
There's
It
no...
would make one mouse very sad.
I am going
Yeah.
to banish this thing from the...
So what I used to do as a kid when it was like a program that refused to go away, I would like, if I could, I would get into like the files and I would just like corrupt everything. I would just like enter all the files with, like Notepad and just like destroy them with random gibberish, and it would just like break them so hard. It's like, yes, you do what I say.
Yes, it's gone. It's gone now. Sorry, Windows Ink is the worst. Yes, at least it's not MS Paint. I will give you that. All right, Spellbound Canvas. Let's look at your having issues with the stream. I guess I'll drop into okay, cool. The commandment is now with us. We will do your picture next to the commandment. An unfinished digital painting. How do I texture the mane and tails? Actually, we got a great guide on this one that we love to throw at people over and over until it's like embedded towards the forehead.
Is it the?
The vi- 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 vi-
I can never say their names, so I'm not gonna start trying.
View respirator.
No.
Well, there's views, but there's also VAD.
Oh.
The
Oh,
Russian
cool.
guy.
Yako. I just call him Yako.
Yako. Yeah, I always see
Yako
VAD
Vlav.
instead of blah, 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 blah. Listen, I'm not good at English, so any other language, I'm just doubly not good at.
So there you go.
try your best.
I have sent it towards you. I highly suggest eating that and then eating it again and possibly printing off another version of it, putting it under your pillow and using
Sleep on
that.
it so you absorb it through osmosis. Yeah.
You could also print it into a daki and then you can hug it at night.
The way you said Daki. Daki. Sorry.
Anyway, what we're getting at is their method of coloring hair, or sorry, texturing and shading hair is absolutely wonderful. We love how they've done it and how they describe on how to build it up. The reason it's so good is because it's simplistic with a great outcome. And as we can see on yours, if we zoom in on Shining Armor up here, I will banish. Oh, I gotta fix these controls. If we look at Shining Armor, we can see that you've already started going at it with like a brush that has the sort of line texture on it. Don't do that. Don't.
Usually that brush is great for touch-ups, but to just use it as its full thing does not work for you. The little strands. Hair is a bunch of little strands, of course. But when you look at somebody, you don't see the individual strands. You see the clumps, how they like sit on their head, you know? It breaks it up into parts. And I'll throw views in for good measure, because you never hurts to have more than one tutorial.
Hmm.
So, what I would like to see you do is go at it with that tutorial and see how that works for you. Based on how your shading's working here, you might want to tone it down a little bit, just so it doesn't, the hair doesn't look amaze balls versus, like, it doesn't look more heavily rendered compared to the rest of the body. Because there's give and take in all how that goes, right? You start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would be careful with your shading. It seems like you're just going towards gray. What you could do is go for a more navy color, because it shows it more in Cadence because she's pink. It's hard to do with white, but white can go with like a blue and it'll make it pop a little bit better.
Yeah. Especially around the blue mane. Yeah.
You get that reflective
Yeah.
shadow and light.
Done.
Was there any other questions you had about this Spellbound? Because mostly with the hair, it's definitely going to be playing with the tutorials and different references, because this program is really made for painting, where we'd love to do a sort of like a tutorial for you live. One day someone can hack Clip Studio Paint to be like a shared canvas. Then we'd all be set. In a perfect world.
One day we'll get a better piece of software.
Great.
Wasn't at one point someone working on a project to make SAI like a shareable canvas?
Any other comments? About the general horses? Yeah, I mean, we can talk about the general horses. They aren't in pajamas. And that's a problem. No. So we can go on about the general shape you built up here. It looks like you started with vector objects and then you've gone ahead and painted over. Because if you look at how perfectly round Shining Armor's chest and head is, that is way too perfectly round. What I would suggest doing is, it's completely fine to build up using a vectoring program to just give some basic shapes. No problem with that whatsoever. It works. Do it. Do what works for you. What I suggest is go in afterwards and hit it with your brush so you can give it some more form. And by that, what we mean by that is they aren't perfect circles, despite how much you want them to be. You want to give them sort of squishiness, sort of flow to them. What that looks like is the connecting edges, like under this chin towards the chest. It all flows into one another. It doesn't come out like like a shoulder. They don't have shoulders. It comes out all smooth and flowing, like they're made of putty and someone's just sort of microwaved it for a little bit too long.
Disclaimer: do not microwave ponies.
Definitely disclaimer: don't microwave putty either. Both are bad choice.
Oh god.
Does that make a bit of sense to you, Spellbound Canvas? Because I did sort of just ramble. Ramble on.
Listen here, the point of this stream is helpful rambles.
Maze is also very much right about your shading on this back leg. Because you have decided to... Shining Armor is a bad one for this one, where we should say you should go to blue. You should still go to blue a little bit more, but there is no separation going on here. The easiest way to get that separation is likely this edge that's formed... Here, I'm going to get a different color. Why not? We're allowed those. This edge across here is going to be actually lighter than the edge over here, or the fall off over here. So if you make that green area darker, even by just a little bit, it'll help give that visual separation. Turn this to draw pile. No. No.
And also this leg here. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. I wonder
What are you doing on the wrong layer over there, Ali?
So this leg right here is actually the back leg, but we have nothing to distinguish that. Because here's the front leg, you know, loving up on his girl there. The back leg kind of just is the same exact color as the chest, so there's no separation, so we kind of see it be the front leg. So just little stuff like that.
Dang it, Maze.
What did Mace?
He has 3 front legs. Get off his gaze.
As long as it's not the 3 rear legs, then that could be something else.
Not allowed to. No.
No wonder Cadence is with me.
It can't be stopped.
It's getting worse.
PG. PG.
This is what happens when you hire us. By hire, I mean just like we showed up and you didn't kick us out.
I paid Ellie in maple candies.
You tried to pay some people in pizza.
I did successfully get pizza to some people's houses.
Yes.
It's really hard to do pizza internationally.
International pizza.
All right, let's go on to the next one before we fall way off the.
Sounds good.
Did I do that?
No,
Good.
it was a ninja impersonating you.
Whoa.
It was such a content, like, whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
All right, Commandment. You got any questions about this one?
Adorable sleepy horse.
You just kind of want to hug it. Or, like, put a pillow under its head. Give it a plushie.
But it's having some really awesome dreams.
I'm a human! I'm a human!
Okay, Lyra.
David,
I
I don't
don't
know what
just-
you just said, Spellbound. Something about the eyes and mouth angle is not quite right. Horse faces are very weird when you go from the top.
So, let's see. The commandant wants to know if they got the anatomy somewhat right. I'd say it's looking pretty good to me.
Is
It's definitely a hard angle.
there are some things I would totally change though. Go for droopy ear.
Ooh, yes. Sleepy ear.
Muzzle. Okay. Let's do this. Let's crack out the big sketching guns here. This is one I would so heavily reference to get a proper image on. Yeah, okay, so the muzzle shape is fine. It's just
References plus.
I think the hair could do with being a bit more far forward. Like it would almost cover more of the face, I think. Because it looks like the ears are trying to. So the ears actually at this angle could be back.
Yeah, they should
Like,
be.
no, like in the picture, they're already drawn backwards. Because if we're looking at the head down, that's not the ears sticking up, that's the ears sticking backwards. It's the opposite of the muzzle. And I think the thing that throws me the most off with that is the fact that the hair should be more far forward, because the hair is almost like as if we're looking directly on, but the muzzle shows us that we're looking at the top of the head. So if the hair was more far forward, almost covering a bit of the eyes as well, I think that'll definitely help with the illusion that we're looking head down, especially because when we look at a pony, their silhouettes facing forward, we see that shape where it's a circle and two spikes for the ears. So that's a lot of configuration stuff.
You've chosen a very hard angle, and I commend you for giving it a go.
Yes, definitely. Angles like these, you need to like sit and think, like, okay, what was that when we were doing the? Oh right, Cute Pencil Case the other day was doing a she was designing a charm, and she had to flip the image. so that
Yeah,
you
the
could see
flow
one
showing.
side and the other, but we were interpreting it totally differently. So like when you do different angles, it's really got to put your brain in like, what would be logical? What would we see? I also think we could do some really cool foreshortening instead of having the hoof like tucked over here. We have it stretched out and kind of looking big towards the front.
I always love putting the hoof out there. Because the way you have it, it looks like you should be holding something. It looks like Big Mac to me. Or like a mid-aged Big Mac. Maybe a young Big Mac. Because I think Big Mac's middle-aged already. How old is a pony? How old are the
Old enough.
old enough? Okay.
That's how the fandoms work.
They own houses, so they
Well,
must.
I mean, the main characters are adults. So Big Mac, like, yeah, definitely is.
Are you sure? They still
Fair
have
bit of-
friendship problems.
Don't we all, though? Like, that doesn't go away with adulthood.
A man can dream, can't he?
We just need to rely on our friends, and we can always solve our problems. At least the friendship-based ones.
And
Real adulting problems, unfortunately, just they suck.
honestly, I think the anatomy is pretty much nicely done here. Next time, if you wanted to make it a little more, I don't want to say extreme, but to really push that angle you're working on, have some foreshortening, both with the back legs and the front legs. Because if we picture the angle you're working with right now, we're seeing the pony from the top of its head. So like, if I were to draw just like a little square here, right? Let's say this is the top of the pony's head. To really push that angle, you could just get some foreshortening and really get that idea that like, oh, we're seeing it from the top of the head, they're stretched out, they're laying back. We'll see like the hooves tucked a little more behind them. That's where like this gets to be a very difficult angle. And again, applaud you for pushing that. But you also get that satisfaction of depth. Depth is awesome.
Yeah. Ooh. Some violent scrolling.
I blame the scrolly wheelie thingy of doom.
Scrolly wheelie thingy of doom. I love
You
it.
can't just blame all your problems on the scrolly wheel.
I think I can.
Like, watch me try.
Hey, looky! I got a gift for you. Brought to you by the internet.
Nice.
It's a pony head angle sheet. You see that muzzle?
I love those.
It's great. Also, this person's tutorial is pretty great too. And I don't know what amino is, but I think it's an acid.
I actually forget I'm on like an equestrian, I just never go on there really.
I'm on there too.
It's hard. Oh, we should add each other as friends. It's hard to like join a community that you're not like already a part of.
I'm not on there. Yay, me.
You're silly. I'm just kidding. I mean,
I
you
like
are
seeing
silly.
the
But
art, but the community's a little too young for me.
there's one like really nice artist on there that I wish she like sometimes re-uploaded her stuff onto like DA, but like not usually. And it's like she was only on the Immuno, and it's like, oh, come on,
Zai, what are you doing down there?
doodling.
All right.
Lobster.
I really like this cute new species I found by Little Pancakes, so I'm drawing one.
Fair enough. It reminds me of a crayfish.
Like little lobster ponies.
You're wrong, LD. It's just a lobster. Just. All right. So next picture up is this one up in the top left-hand corner. It's a flutter butter.
Oh, it's like
Yay.
a hug.
First time
Aw.
posting. Thoughts on Fluttershy. Thanks in advance. This is by. Hold up a second there. I like their name. All they've posted is horse.
So I like
This
that
is-
they went for some horsish anatomy.
Yeah,
Fun to see
I was
that
gonna
as
say
well.
it's very nice anatomy. Like it really draws the eye. I think.
The only thing I would do differently is if you have the hooves and the body so horsish.
Horses.
It's hard to say.
Horses will be a word now.
Yeah, it should be. Let's get on that. The only thing I would do differently is the muzzle seems very blocky, where we look at horses and it's kind of like slanted, and we come down to slender like. And we can still have somewhat big eyes. Don't get me wrong. I can't. Those cute big eyes. You can't not.
Yeah. True.
But yeah, I would just go for maybe a little more slender and a little more curvy. Because horses have interesting features. They're interesting.
Yeah. And there's so many different ways to interpret them as well. So I also see people getting creative between different styles, like the MLP style and the just like more realistic study. It's nice to see sort of different in betweens, different like
Absolutely.
translations, so to speak.
So I noticed you did something very odd on the where the tail comes out. Looks like you added
there's, like-
another set of wings.
I've seen this on a design before.
Oh yeah, it's like a
it's like
yeah,
a
so like a
bird
tail
feather
thing.
tail. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that until now. That's yeah.
I'm still very confused when I look at it because the way you have it, because there's no separation line like up here or here, to differentiate it from the closest area on the hip. Because the way you have it, it looks to me as though it's extends the entire array of the behind. So, you have your hip here and hip here. It looks like it comes out like this. I'm not sure if that's what you're going for. If that is what you're going for, awesome. If it isn't, if you're just going for like standard horsetail, then you'd want it to just come out of here. Let me do a different color there. You want it to come out of just here. And that's where you'd just completely finish that line across the hip. And that's going to help differentiate it from that point. Separating. It's great. Layering. All that.
Yeah.
The wings are very cool.
Yes. And I really like how they did the hair up front.
Mm-hmm. Because it is a bit there's a lot going on with the hair, especially on the arms here. Some of the lines have made it look like she's wearing a sweater. Like right here, this area going across here, because there's these few lines coming in like this. That reminds me of the crease on a sweater. So I would just urge you to be a little more careful on how you leave messy lines hanging around, because they can cause elements like that to build up, especially because right across her wrists we then are met with another piece of hair, which is gorgeous, but that then gives me the visual cue, oh, that must be the end of the sleeve.
Yeah, I can still see that. Sometimes we do create like illusions like that in our drawings. It's really interesting when it does happen.
Absolutely. Just figured I would bring it up because I saw it, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
To point out things that can be seen.
Yeah. So I see you posted this a month ago, but it was back. You drew it back in 2013, judging on what your post title says. So if this is all the way back from 2013, wait, when did the fandom start?
2010, I believe.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's very good. I want to see what you have today. So can we get a follow-up from you and have you post what you do now? That'd be great. Thanks. All right, next. And yes, we do stock.
Someone,
Oh, we do?
yes, someone in Picarto chat requests. And we don't mind critiquing at all, just throw it at our faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we always say.
Oh, it's
That's what
Tarson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the chippy spirit isn't actually there.
Fluffy, that creature is adorable.
Thank you. I drew in blue, and then I realized, because that's like I usually sketch in color, and then I realized that there's no like lock opacity in this program. So I did it silly, and I'm rectifying it. Oh, I love this rarity. This is such a pretty rarity. Oh, yeah, I was behind on the stream, and you were like scrolling across the page. Ooh.
Oh, Tarson's picture.
Oh no.
Should we be concerned here?
You should always be concerned, really.
I'm
Just a See, that's what D&D teaches you. It's like always be paranoid, always be concerned, always panic.
Just gonna place it on top of Alley stuff. Oh no.
Oh, you're fine.
So we have a second Fluttershy. Sort of.
That's so cute.
That's very silly.
Alright, so first thing is first. He's so cute. He's so adorable. I want that sweater.
I want that pony. Just for hug purposes.
Yeah, so do you have any questions for us, Tarson? Mace is just on the ball here. He's amazing. I've made that joke all the time. By the way, Commandment, no. Oh, yeah, he can't hear us, but no problem. To make the jacket more into a jacket. Yeah, totally. Do you have a jacket at home? Because you're a good reference while wearing a jacket to get an idea of what a jacket looks like. Using references is great. But layering is going to help here too.
Brought to you by references. Always use references.
So a few of your lines are really throwing this off of giving it the weight behind it. And to help with that, you're just going to add a little more volume to this. So your hoodie is pretty damn thin. Most good hoodies, at least in my experience, they'll all have a bead running down them, like a folded over area across the hood, across the top, and that creates this nice reinforced ring hanging around. I would give that to this, and that's going to help give a little volume, a little thickness. I'm going to draw that on in there. And how is this being held together down here? Is it a zipper? Is it buttons like kugami, whatever those are called? You know, how? Tell us what's going on to hold this thing together. And then for areas like this hood up here, is it like a hardened mask? The reason I say that is because the mane, like we can see this adorable horse's hair sticking out here, which is really cool and adorable, but it has given zero effect to the rest of this head. And in fact, it's sitting over what I assume would be this pony's eyes. It should be like somewhere down here and all the way up over here. And I'm super adorable. It's a cute idea. If you push the hair over a bit and maybe stick the bottom of the eyes out of this hood, it's going to help with that a little bit. I would also add the small curves into the hoodie to show that there's objects behind it. So things like your eyes hanging around there and where it sits up on the horn here. You know, just add a little folds and creases into it is going to really give it the impression of being fabric. Much like the last picture of Fluttershy where I was talking about those lines being left in there that reminded me of the folds of a sweater. Now we have a sweater that's trying to be a sweater, but is losing out because it doesn't have those folds. Look at that. We got two related pieces of art.
Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, watch the rest of the stream. You who skipped to this part to see your art critique.
Luckily, they're in our chat. So
Yeah, so they probably didn't have to watch later on.
We all know Flutters is actually an alicorn. She also has no wings. How come your sweater has
unicorn flutter? It's Flutterheart, I think. I remember seeing like someone did like a set of like species swapped main six, which was really interesting. It's like it was like not just like, oh, they've been transformed. It was like if they were like just born as different species in like different circumstances. And it's like a whole like AU thing.
You definitely want to install plushy wings on there.
My tablet pen has fallen asleep. Yeah. My microphone got in the way of my head.
Now his head has fallen asleep.
Yay, I control them.
Your coloring's very good though. Looks like
Yeah, I really like this coloring. It's really nice.
alcohol
You give it a try
marker
with it.
mixed with pencil crayon?
Mixed with magic. Art magic.
You got any other questions there for us, Tarson, buddy? If not, we'll go to the rah 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 rah. All right, let's go to a rarity.
Rarity.
We're just scrolling all around this canvas.
We just go in every location at once.
Think of the calories we're burning here, moving left and right.
Yeah, work that canvas. It's just like a drawing exercise video.
Oh god.
So
Draw a
this
circle, circle, circle.
this one is by Rabbits and Doves, and it's just thought I should post this here. They have no questions, but someone did post named DJ Spike, and all they said was waifu.
What? All he said was what?
Waifu.
Ah. Brilliant.
This also looks like alcohol markers, but you have a lot of good control over your alcohol markers. I am impressed.
Yes. Yeah, honestly, the only critique I have is having some sort of separation right here.
Yeah.
Like, maybe.
I don't like the muzzle. It's so big on her head. It's overtaking a lot of it. And I understand their direction on here and why they would have gone with that, because horses have very long faces. But the source material we're pulling it from, they're like these little adorable boopable things that come out of just like the ether of boopableness.
Very true.
If my suggestion here would be take it back a few steps. We're gonna add the lines over here. And I would just round it out just a bit more. Bring it back. You don't have to. Yeah. I'm trying to think of how to word this without being silly.
We're always silly here. That's impossible.
Fair enough. Yeah, just bring it back. Just pull it back just a little bit. It's going to help move a little of the weight from forward on the face, and it's going to help bring it back. Keep that adorable looking MLP stylings without going full horse. Because once you go full horse, you just end up buying a plot of land and building a barn and some fences and letting them roam free. Then you got to clean up horse dung. Yeah, that was a weird tangent.
Is this something you think about a lot?
No, it's a shitty thing to think about.
Literally.
No.
Then you have a little crack in their face.
Yeah,
But
it's all
I
yours.
I sort of agree as well. I do like doing these like side. In fact, my side muzzles. You know how sort of like cartoony my regular muzzles look. They're quite sort of inspired from the show style.
Yeah.
But my side view can't help but looking like way more elegant because I just don't know how else to do it on the side. Let me get back color.
I will say your eyes are gorgeous, and
I love them. They're like a burst of eyelashes. They're so pretty.
your use of line weights is just spot on. There's
Okay.
there's some areas where it looks like you had a little hesitation, like right here and up towards here. Like you might have not approached it with the same care you did with like the front of the chest here. That's fine. And if I'm picking on little things like an area of line weight that looks like it had a little hesitation behind it, that is just getting picky.
Yeah, it means that you have been doing good.
I do see there's another horse over here, though. I am interested in what that is.
I sense Applejack. I see those golden.
And of course it's rarity, so the other one's gonna be actually.
That makes sense.
What about up top? The blue body, purple hair. Is it maybe Color Tora?
Kind of looks like it.
Maybe.
It's a fun game.
I'm interested in what anime is going on over here. Because that looks like a manga.
Yeah, maybe.
Nice.
It's like interestingly scrubbed over it.
They're
An eyebrow
paperweight.
could help really like push the expression on the eye here. You got like the eye is really beautiful, but I feel like there could be more expressiveness in like the shape, make it a little bit more elegant, rarity like, and really push this like eyelid, sort of like half closed look, and then you could sort of do a bit with the eyebrow, depending on what sort of expression you're trying to go for here.
Her diamond eyes are one of those stunning features on her. I mean, it's so stunning. She uses as part of her logo.
True.
It's true.
She got that charisma roll going, yo. Charisma bonus +5.
Min max, take the charisma, dump stat intelligence.
Oh, she's not smart of a cookie, but she like maybe strength.
All right.
Okay.
All right, let's go on to
Yeah,
the next
yeah,
one.
question. Oh.
We got just waking up cadence down here.
This one caught my eye immediately.
And this one is by Mere Crescent. And oh my gosh, Mere Crescent was in the chat, wasn't he? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we
Are they
skipped
still?
all the way over them. Sorry.
You are.
Some days
How rude.
we do not put 1
They're
and
still
7
in the
together.
chat though, so we
that's good.
we can still do it.
Well, Miracrits, and if you can hear us, if there's any questions you have, we'll be happy to answer. If we can try anything with the stuff.
Give us questions.
At Mere Crescent. Just boop them maybe. No, how do you oh they're here! Yay!
Yay!
Well, thank you for holding on with us. We appreciate it. We are not clever people.
We
What-
try, but
What's wrong with her? I think she's just waking up. I think that might be the issue here.
so I think the biggest thing that points out to me is actually how the hair and horn interact. Really, the way that with that way the hair is flowing, we'd have a more of a slice through, like, you know, something like this.
Yeah, I
Not so much just straight across.
Swunk. Swunk. She has a really big squishy cheek. I would take your ear and move it back. Right now, it is formed out of her eyebrow. This is a very common thing that a lot of people do. I will disagree with it up and down. Ears form on the back third of your head. Same as MLP. The easiest way to make this happen is by separating it with that line that goes across.
Yeah, it's just an overlapping
Yeah.
change there. Real simple.
Very simple,
Just
but totally
boop.
changes it.
That's
So-
all. Literally just boop, and then. Boop.
Yeah. And would there be scalp? Yes. Here, I'll erase my line. There you go. There would be a little scalp. She does have a whole lot of mane in the show though, because she uses Maybelline.
Of course.
True fact.
The Crystal Sheen brand.
Hmm.
I love
And
the
I
eye
don't-
though.
I'm not sure if this is personal or not, but I think you could possibly get rid of all these little scraggly bits, because Cadence has really nice long hair, and I totally think you can still get the bedhead feel by having long strands kind of break up in that area, because right now it just kind of feels like she got a really bad haircut in the front to make everything short.
Maybe it's her youthful era, where she goes for that
Yes.
rebellion hair. We can actually use another picture on here as a good example of
Okay, yeah.
of how to play with mane that flows. So if we go back over to both these ponies that are lying down, the Fluttershy, when her mane flows out over the hooves and over in front of her. Great use of it just getting along with the rest of the image that's going. You can see it rolling over her hooves and rolling out the front of her head. That is the technical term here. You can do that with what you have here. So make it roll over that pillow, at least part of it. You could lay it down across it, bring it back up over. You can do sort of what Zaya's do. It depends on where you want to place that mane on it. It looks like you're slightly further back on the pillow, so head, you got floofy pillow, you got arm.
So I'm putting another layer and have a front layer and a back layer. So then there, look, it's like flowing everywhere.
Totally.
Front and behind.
And you still get that nice messy bed head without making it short.
Yeah. And you
Do a
also get to
little
cover up
cut
some
here.
lines. I love
Little bit
using
of
other
a
things to
whoop.
cover.
Little bit
I
of a
mean,
little swoosh, swoosh. I don't know, just messing.
So with the hair texture, I wouldn't go too in depth with detail on the hair texture. I definitely think the shadows you have to identify like the different groupings of hair, like how we sort of clump hair together, it's better than trying to get all the individual strands, and I think that works really well with what you have shading and texture for everything else. Because it's very hard to just texture one part and not give everything else something to work with. So if you do go in with more detailed textures of the hair, think about how to texture the face and the eyes and the pillow. That kind of stuff too.
Yeah, and it's all about balancing that stuff out.
so I wouldn't say go redo a bunch on this one, because that's just wasted effort.
Yeah, but
We
just thoughtful future attempts at it.
Oh, and to answer your earlier question, or someone's earlier question, for the little triangle, or the screen triangle here, so there could be scalp. You could see the base of her horn pulling through. It really depends on how you want to handle it. You could even, with how this hair is flowing, you could even have parts that just like swoop in front of it, but still have, the same flow. So it's really how you want to handle it. That's all. But just having like a facing forward and with hair that obviously has a certain flow to it, just putting a line in front of a horn, you kind of lose the breakage. I know the show does it all the time, but they use simple vectors so they can get away with anything,
Yeah,
especially in animation.
Get away
Yeah,
with
that sounds good.
everything.
if you compare the two, it's quite interesting. I don't want to turn off the layers when people draw them.
You got any other questions for us there?
Oh. An old friend from MLPDS just said hi to me.
Oh,
Say hi back to them.
It was Dog Jedi.
Who?
Remember
Dog
that?
Jedi.
Oh, Dog Jedi!
Haven't
Who's the-
heard from them in forever.
Mm.
All right. Well, if that's all you got, that's all the pictures we got. So if anyone else has any other art they'd like critiqued, any other questions they'd like to ask, now is your chance. Otherwise, we'll pack it up for this week, and we'll see you again next week. And maybe Living Dead will have his tablet figured out again.
We can only wait and see.
I'll probably forget about it until next week. I barely use this tablet anymore, except for these ones. I've just been doing traditional for the last year. I just like it more. I like the resistance I get.
It's nice to have that feel. You can't beat it. Ozan, we might need your modly ship.
Sleepy.
In the what?
We might need your modly ship and critique.
What's wrong
Is
with
it drama?
Now, someone just put down some very suggestive art.
Boom!
I mean-
Put an SD card on top of it. I love
It's a
it.
clever sensor. I'll give him that, but
Resourceful. Use what is in your environment, you know? Clever, but no.
I think they just joined.
Ah, this is the zero person. Just
Yeah.
just joined. A lot of people have been just
They
joining in
even
and like
joined the
immediately
Not
going to
Safe for Work
critique.
channel.
I keep bumping my headphones, my microphone with my headphones.
Alright, well, if that's it, I'm gonna just, end this. And thank you all for
Oh, I
coming.
thought we were done.
We weren't.
Sorry.
See y'all
Bye,
next week.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.